We have to do some more sit and chat because there were a few more questions that I couldn't include in last time's video. So let's do them today in this episode of Sit and Chat. Hey, so let's continue from last time. We discussed our favorite songs from the Voyage album, and some of you, well, had questions and follow-up questions about that, and also some very fascinating, once again, fascinating observations and commentaries on some aspects of the album and some of the songs from Voyage. So here's a question. And which is your favorite song from Voyage, Bobby's brother? Another one asked, what I'd like to know though is, what is your favorite Voyage song, Bobby's brother, and why? Only one, mind you. Who comes up with questions like that? Let me preface this by saying, and I know this sounds like a cliche, but I really mean this when I say, for me personally, and everything I say in these videos is from my personal perspective, it's my opinion only. The Voyage album, for me personally, and that's really true, there is not one song that is interchangeable with another one on the album in the slightest. The variety on that album is impeccable. And at the same time, yet, there is a coherence in Voyage. And this album, in fact, in my opinion, couldn't be more coherent. It couldn't be more coherent, and that makes it all the more impeccable. Despite the variety of songs and genres, and styles, and moods, and again, that's my opinion, and we talked about it immensely on this channel. I gave you all my thoughts and opinions about why I think that Voyage is so coherent and has such an incredible flow from start to finish. And when that final song ends, you can just start the first song again and the flow is there. It's a circle, it goes around. It's incredible, and I really mean that. So, when you ask me what is your favorite song, and we don't talk about the two singles as I said last time, I Still Have Faith in You and Don't Shut Me Down are generally considered to be the greatest favorites amongst fans for obvious reasons as well. Those were the first two songs that ABBA recorded and released after 40 years. So you cannot beat that. But I had to think about it, of course, and I want to give you my answer. And it is depending on the day, the week, the mood. I can tell you easily my third favorite song could be Little Things. And if you follow my channel, if you have been watching my videos, you know how much I adore that song. I could say the very same thing about Just a Notion. I also have to say, chronologically speaking, from the recording session dates, the first two recordings that ABBA did were I Still Have Faith in You and Don't Shut Me Down, and they continued, that was in June 2017, they continued in January 2019 with the next two songs, the third and fourth song recorded for Voyage, and those were, of course, I Can Be That Woman and Bumblebee. And I have to say, there is some real quality about those four first songs. And what I find so remarkably, still, I have mentioned this, but it's 2 years ago, I will mention it now again, about those two songs, I Can Be That Woman and Bumblebee, is that now, January 2019, we find ourselves again in ABBA's music studio, Mono Music, RMV Studios. They gather again, but this time Björn and Benny have a song for each lady. Lead vocals for Agneta on I Can Be That Woman on the one hand, and Bumblebee on the other hand for Frida. And not only that, they complement each song with the voice of the others, but not throughout the whole song, but just in those very crucial moments in each of those songs. In I Can Be That Woman, Frida is preceding the chorus and giving it that strength when she sings, I can be that woman now. And the same goes for Bumblebee. You have lead vocal this time by Frida, and Agneta comes in and out in the harmonies. And I think there is something really special about those two follow-up songs, if you will, of I Still Have Faith in You and Don't Shut Me Down. But you ask me, give me your number one favorite song apart from the first two singles, and it is very hard. But if I really have to choose, have to pick one, and I hope this isn't too boring for you now, but I think I have to go with you, I have to join you, I have to say Ode to Freedom would be that song. So when the album finished, when I was listening to it for the very first time, that final song came, Ode to Freedom, and it blossomed and it ended. And as soon as Ode to Freedom ended, for the very first time, my very first listening experience of Voyage, I was from 0 to 100 full of ecstasy, of excitement, and I said to myself, they have done it again. The whole album, that final song, I was so thrilled with a complete Voyage. So I will go with you, and I will say, which is your favorite song from Voyage, Bobby's brother? It's Ode to Freedom. But for this video, I also have to really give credit to another song. If you remember from last time or the previous time, when you gave me all of your opinions and we did the ranking of your favorite songs from Voyage, the two least favorite songs were Little Things and Just an Ocean. And suddenly, when I presented you that result, in that comment section, I felt suddenly that there was so much love for Just an Ocean. All those people who didn't give their vote for Just an Ocean, now they came up and they said, Just an Ocean is my favorite song. And I want to give a few quotes about this because I really enjoyed that. So, someone commented and simply said, Just an Ocean. Another one said, I also love Just an Ocean. Another one said, Just an Ocean is my submission, thanks. Another one, I would say Just an Ocean. It brings me back to my childhood, to my youth, to my dancing days and nights. Another one said, Just an Ocean, exclamation mark. Another one, my absolute favorite is Just an Ocean. The whole album is extremely moving to me, but two songs are very special. I cannot decide which one is better, Ode to Freedom or Just an Ocean. The second one, Just an Ocean, takes me instantly to the 1970s. We can hear Agneta and Frida voices again at the peak of their careers. Further comments said, Just an Ocean, the best. Just an Ocean makes me so happy. A true masterpiece. There were 3 more votes for the song, and another one who said, Just an Ocean is probably the best outtake from ABBA to be finished until Just Like That will hopefully get finished. And I would like to end today's episode by giving you a quote which is a little longer, but it's really worth to read and to listen to. And it actually starts with praise for Just an Ocean, but it goes on about the entirety of the album. So listen to this. When I listened to Just an Ocean for the very first time, I couldn't stop crying for hours and hours. I don't know which dams have broken in this moment, and I was not prepared, but I was flooded by emotion, joy, disbelief, and the honest feeling that I had never before heard anything more beautiful than this song. Since then, Just an Ocean belongs to my all-time favorite ABBA songs and is for me the very best song of the whole album. As you know, it is also the only song on Voyage for which the music was written by both Benny and Björn. And as much as I adore Benny's beautiful solo compositions in terms of music, because that's true, Benny Andersson composed the entire music for Voyage, Björn wrote the lyrics only, but not the music as he did back in the day. So as much as I adore Benny's beautiful solo compositions, the combination of Benny's and Björn's musical ideas is, in my eyes, unsurpassed. Listening to Just an Ocean later in the context of the album, I realized very soon that its lyrics are the perfect answer to what is sung in Don't Shut Me Down, namely from the perspective of the person who is referred to as you in Don't Shut Me Down. If you listen to Just an Ocean with this in mind, you will see what I mean. So listen again to those two tracks in sequence, and maybe you will know what that person means. But now it goes on, and this is as interesting. I always thought that the B-side of Voyage has a rather dark atmosphere, so that I am surprised that many fans seem to prefer these songs to the brighter songs on the A-side. When I hear expressions on the B-side songs, like "The pain that I feel is real," "I feel sick," "feeling sad," "I feel so bad," "Why do I let it upset me," and so on, it may be a little bit heavy at times. I rather prefer the good old times, little moments of happiness and of bliss, or the funny feeling, and that everything from there on must be right. But in the end, it is fantastic that ABBA were able to create such a diverse album, for which I will be forever grateful. So, what else can I add to that? I mean, this truly speaks from my heart. This is regarding the observations of that person, and back in my Voyage series, I gave you all those very fascinating contradictions in the album's A-side and the B-side, and in that incredible variety from one song to another. So what else can I say to that? I mean, it's interesting that songs like Just an Ocean seem to be more diverse like other songs, because of course there are also many fans and votes that do not care about Just an Ocean, and sometimes even really dislike it. So then you have those other comments about that song, which I just read, all of them. So it's incredible to have that variety, and one person saying I don't like Just an Ocean, and another one saying, for me it's a masterpiece, it brings me to tears. I am on that latter part. It has always been an instant favorite from the get-go, from the moment before I read any commentaries on the internet. I never did that. I listened to each song, listened to the album. It has been my very own experience, just my very own. And then only in the aftermath, I got to see what other people think, of course. So this is not me being rebellious. Just a Notion has always tugged at my heartstrings, as well as a song like Little Things, very much so, including the children's choir. And I gave you my opinions on the Voyage series, as I said. Now, speaking of Just a Notion, to conclude this thought, what I always liked is the fact that we shouldn't forget that Just a Notion was ABBA's final single before the album was released. So it was basically the single leading to the album. It was the third single from Voyage. And suddenly, listening to that full recording, that outtake being dusted off the archives, you have this ending section of the song, which, as we now know, are newly recorded vocals from Frida and Agneta. And they sing, "I think it's more than a notion, even more than your dream is about to come true." So, having those final lines from ABBA and from Frida and Agneta today, adding to that archival recording, leading up to this entire new ABBA album right in front of our eyes, that was really exciting for me and very magical. It was so fitting. So that's my experience with that song. And I want to read a final comment for today. And this was astonishing for me. Someone wrote, "I did not personally witness the ABBA comeback with the release of the Voyage album, for I was too young. And for I didn't know them by that time. I've heard about that band for the first time ever in a TV reporting showing the premiere of the Voyage concert in London. I remember that I had found their music really great, so I have looked for their songs on the internet and immediately fell in love with them. I've quickly found your wonderful YouTube channel by doing searches about my new favorite band, and I watched all your videos since the very first one. You allowed me to live the ABBA return, even if I were unfortunately 1 year late. I finally went to see the Voyage show last year, and it was a dream come true. Thank you, Bobby's brother, for having made me love ABBA as much as I do today." This is simply stunning. What can I say? That really moves me to read comments like this, and it amazes me, to be honest. So yeah, as I said recently in, I think, one of the first sit and chat episodes, this new format on the channel, I started this channel simply because I personally wanted to have a channel like that. So I never had anyone else in mind, to be honest. Not really. I just wanted someone talk about those upcoming new songs, the new project, and talking the legacy of ABBA the way that I do. And I'm not saying this is the only way or the perfect way or anything like that. I'm just saying this is my way, and this is the way I just wanted to have it out there. But as time went on and no one did it, as I said recently, I decided to do it basically for myself. And now, coming back to it 3.5 years later and reading comments like this one, and this is not the first one that goes in this direction. I mean, if that's one of the impacts that my simple idea of this channel had or has, it's tremendous, and that's even more better. So thank you very much for this, for letting me know, and for somehow finding me and connecting with me, and with my thoughts, and with my affection for ABBA. I mean, if someone writes, thank you for having made me love ABBA as much as I do today, I guess I did something quite right after all with the channel and the videos. So not that I doubted that, but thank you very much. It means so much, really. And that's it for today. I just had those few questions over and comments over, and wanted to continue to celebrate your thoughts and your thoughts about Voyage. Alright, until then, hello!